Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Outdoor Adventure Series podcast, where we celebrate individuals and families, businesses, and organizations that seek out and promote the exploration, stewardship, conservation, access, and enjoyment of the outdoors. Jeff Alt is our guest on the Outdoor Adventure Series today. Jeff is an author, an award-winning author, a speaker, an adventurer, and a family hiking and camping expert. As far as his author work is concerned, he's a very prolific author, and he's got some really neat books out there. His newest book is called Time Traveling Through Yellowstone National Park, The Adventures of Bubba Jones. The Adventures of Bubba Jones is his fifth book in the Adventures of Bubba Jones series. Jeff, it's a pleasure to have a fellow OWA member, and for our listeners, that's the Outdoor Writers Association of America. Jeff is a member out on the East Coast. And Jeff, again, it's a pleasure to have you on the podcast today.
It's great to be on the show with you today, Howard. Thank you.
And I have to admit, it's like, how have I never met you before? Because you're a member, I'm a member, and I was just very happy and grateful for Ches, our executive director, to make the introductions for us. So really excited to learn more about you and your work. So without further ado, share a little bit with our audience. Who is Jeff Alt?
Well, I'm an adventurer, as you've mentioned. From when I was a little boy, my family took me on some unbelievable adventures to our national parks and planted seeds in me that evolved into going out and discovering on my own, fulfilling dreams. And it just amazed me how much you can gain from an outdoor adventure and then reapply that into other areas of your life. And so that really just stuck with me and formed how I look at the world and how I go about writing books and my interactions with people and my keynotes and everything. So it all started with family adventures as a young boy.
Fantastic. Now, I do have to ask, because you and I are maybe in a similar age range. Actually, I think I'm probably a little bit older. And I remember the family adventures. And did your family have the paneled station wagon with the camper in the back?
Yes, we did. We called it the Brady Bunch car. Coleman cooler, the canvas tent that leaked, in the wood paneled station wagon without. I don't know that there were seatbelts even.
Probably not back then.
But we had fun.
And as you went out with the family, how many brothers and sisters did you have?
So I come from a family of 5.
Okay.
And so we had to modify a little bit how we went about some of our adventures because one of my brothers was born with cerebral palsy, which
okay.
He was in a wheelchair. So when he was born, we had to change a little bit in how we did things. But yeah, so I'm the second oldest, and so our adventures involved a little bit of everything. We a lot of camping, fishing, hiking, going to the night ranger talks, the campfire chats that the national park rangers give. And so, yeah, and all of that, it just is such a powerful memory. And it taught me that it's the experiences that we live and learn from more than buying things and owning something. It's what you did together that creates those memories that are so profound. And it's where you learn a lot of life lessons too.
As you were going out with the family and into the parks, who taught you how to fish or to navigate the trails? Maybe you learned how to use a compass or looking at flowers and wildlife. Who helped educate you in addition to, say, perhaps the rangers during the evening ranger talks?
Sure. So it was a mixture of folks, extended family. I do have a stepfather and a father. And my father's a big fisherman, so he taught us to fish. And to this day, he's still an avid fisherman. And then my stepfather, he had the bug to hike the Appalachian Trail. So
Ah,
he was the one that I would go hiking with the most. And we did sections of the Appalachian Trail in the Great Smoky Mountain National Park, which really planted the seed for the big adventure I went on. I was also a Boy Scout at a young age. So I learned orienteering and map reading. And I also served a stint in the US Army where I refined those skills even more. So I had a mixed bag of know-how from multiple sources.
okay. My next question to you, by the way, was going to ask, were you in the Boy Scouts? And I love that you were. And again, I'm thinking about my upbringing in the Midwest. I think I went to day camp. That was it. That was the extent of it. Maybe we went to Camp Tamarack for a weekend once a year. That was
Sure.
it. And so your stepfather took you on the Appalachian Trail, and I think that is just wonderful. And what was it adventures like that that began to kind of plant the seeds into writing the books? Because I mean, your books, and for our listeners, you're going to probably see this on the YouTube Get to Know You segment. As I had mentioned in the intro, Jeff has written a number of books in the series, The Adventures of Bubba Jones. And when did the seed begin to get planted for you about, I want to be a writer and I want to write about these adventures?
And initially, I didn't start all out to be an author. I started out as an adventurer.
Okay.
My first book I penned after walking the Appalachian Trail.
Okay.
And I thought, you're out there. I was in the woods for a half a year, 6 months almost, right? Well, 5 months total. And you have so much time to just think through things and just dwell on topics and solve problems. And you don't have a computer with you, and so you're a lot of things that you're coming up with in your mind. You're like, what do I do with this? And so I kept a journal, handwritten journal. And after that adventure, asked to speak at various Rotaries and Kiwanis groups and outdoor clubs, and I didn't know which stories to tell. I had so many of them. So as I would share stories, I started to keep note of which ones people found the most entertaining, the most engaging. And that formulated my first manuscript about my Appalachian adventure, which was picked up by a publisher, and it's still my selling adult nonfiction book out there. But that started my writing career and my technique of how I write.